Okay, hello and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ryan Embry, and I am the brand ambassador here at Travel Media Group. I want to first thank everyone for taking the time to join me on this webinar this afternoon. I am super excited to share this presentation with you all. Now, at the end of this webinar, we'll be providing my direct contact information in case you have any sort of follow-up questions with the content that I'm going to be sharing today. But you can also use that chat feature, which is located right in your toolbar, to type any sort of questions or feedback. I will be responding to those questions following the conclusion of the webinar. Also, be on the lookout since today's presentation will feature an interactive poll. Would absolutely love your participation in it. So let's go ahead and get started and learn how to take those copy-paste templated review replies and transform them to creative, unique, and professional review responses. So what we're going to be doing in today's webinar is really taking a look at 5 different online reviews written by real-life travelers. And we're going to match them with 5 of the most commonly used copy-paste or templated response. From there, we're going to be sharing expert tips and adding to that templated response until it's a completely unique, professionally written review response. Now, let's first start with this 5-star review, which you see on the slide here is titled Great Value for the Money, and it reads, enjoyed staying. Location is great, not far from a subway station and only 15 minutes ride from all the sites. There are a lot of restaurants and shops nearby. Cheerful and welcoming atmosphere. Thanks for the hospitality. Now, for this example, we paired this review with the ever-popular templated response, we wish or we hope to see you again soon. So let's go ahead and add to that response now and try to make it unique and professionally written. Now, I think this tip is a lost art in our industry in responding to online reviews for hotels. We are not in the manufacturing or tech industry. No, hoteliers are in the people industry, the hospitality industry. We don't simply want to see our guests again, we want to serve them again. So use these hospitality specific terms and keywords. That way you'll distinguish your hotel from other businesses and products that they might be leaving and writing reviews for as well. Our review response experts with hospitality backgrounds start off this review by writing, we wish to serve you again in the future and provide another first-class stay at our hotel. Come back soon. Have a good one. Now, every hotel today should have an unspoken promise to provide a comfortable place to stay and a high level of customer service to each of its guests. If that promise is being met, let travelers know through your review response. When guests are leaving you those 4 or 5-star reviews online, they're letting you know that that promise was kept, and it's important to let other travelers know that that promise and expectation is set at your property. So a great example of this can be found in our Travel Media Group team's response, where they write, our team strives to provide a full value experience for our valued guests. Hence, we're delighted to know that we've delivered the commitment while you were at the property with our top-notch hospitality as the highlight. Now, positive online reviews are so powerful because they really are billboards for your hotel online. A space where travelers are looking, reading, and basing their booking decision off of. So with that in mind, why not build another online billboard right next to it using your review response? Leverage review response to market your hotel's strengths to other travelers that might be still looking to make that booking decision. Include in your response reasons to pick your property versus the property that they might be researching next. So our review response team is incredibly talented at this, and they know the importance of capitalizing on especially these 4 and 5-star reviews. Our team writes, it sounds like you had a fantastic tour of the city and the nearby attractions because of our unparalleled convenience to the various modes of transportation and proximity. So when we combine these 3 tips and add them to this templated review response, we get a response that is unique to the hotel industry, showcasing a service promise kept between both hotelier and guest, and the opportunity to market our hotel strength to potential travelers that are reading the response and review. "We wish to see you again" accomplishes none of the above. And this is an illustration and perfect example of the power of a well-crafted review response and the impact that it can have. Now, the next review is a neutrally rated 3-star review, which is titled "The Good and Bad." It reads, "The hotel is located off the highway in a business industrial area. It's not possible to walk any shops or restaurants. One side of the hotel faces the golf course, other side an industrial park and other buildings. Request of a view room. Lobby is large and open with high ceilings and lots of seating for leisure and business. The pool, when we were there in June, was under construction and they were working on a Saturday morning. This is a convention and business hotel, and at times the wait for the elevator was long and common areas could be very crowded and noisy. The soundproofing was weak, doors slamming, hallway noise, but the executive staff was friendly." So we went ahead and matched this review with the famous "thank you for your feedback" response. Now, "thank you for your feedback" is definitely the most used phrase in the history of online review response. When it's read by travelers now, it sounds like you're talking to a robot operator over the phone. We never want our guests that have taken the time to leave an online review to feel like this. Even when addressing negative feedback, our response needs to speak specifically and directly to the content that was written. And in a long review like this, it could mean a multitude of both good and bad. So be sure that all of the issues are being acknowledged in your review response, addressing the reviewer's concerns, but also giving peace of mind to other travelers reading this response. So instead of just writing the "thank you for your feedback," our creative review response team adds, "Thank you for finding the time to share the details of your recent visit. We apologize for the unwanted noise and issues with the elevator. We will keep your feedback in mind moving forward as we further enhance our guest experience and satisfaction." Now, one mistake hoteliers do tend to make when responding to reviews, typically 3 stars and below, is really honing in on the bad. We spend so much time acknowledging and apologizing for what went wrong, we really forget about all the parts of their experience that went right. Now, with a neutrally rated review like this one, it's important to really focus on the positives of the traveler's experience and highlight that in our review response. Our team strategically positions the positive segment of the response in front of acknowledging the issues or concerns of the review. This way, the review reads as an overall positive experience with a couple of minor issues. So again, with this tip in mind, our review response team writes, "While we are delighted to learn that you found our spacious lobby to be remarkable and our guest service to be accommodating and friendly, it's unfortunate that the same cannot be said about the other aspects of your time with us." And lastly, review response is a great place for hoteliers to show confidence in what their hotel has to offer. Demonstrate to travelers through review response what are the expectations when a guest stays at the property and the type of service that they can expect. Give other travelers the peace of mind knowing that if the review they're reading doesn't reflect this expectation, the lengths that you're willing to go to make sure it does next time. We are at a point in the industry today where travelers are willing to overlook a bad or a neutral review, but only if that review is responded and handled appropriately. So copy pasting "thank you for your feedback" just doesn't cut it anymore in the eyes of your brand, and more importantly, in the eyes of the traveler. So for the final touch of this review response, our Travel Media Group team writes, "We hope you give us another chance and we will do our best to deliver the exceptional stay we know we can." Now, neutral reviews can sometimes be the hardest to respond to, and you need to be extremely careful and strategic when responding to them because you don't know what the traveler reading the review and the response is focusing on, whether it's the good or the bad. So keep these tips in mind when responding to neutral reviews and leave the phrase "thank you for your feedback" to the bots and the automated messaging systems out there. Now let's take a look at a negative review, which is titled "Not What I Expected." It reads, "They never vacuumed the rooms and never cleaned the corners of the elevators." elevator or the halls. They did not have a very good variety of food for breakfast and also never could keep up with the coffee and hot water for drinks. There was never enough towels in the pool area, and it's supposed to be a heated pool, but it was never warm. So we went ahead and paired this negative review with the templated apology response. We're sorry to hear about your experience. Now, negative reviews need to be handled extremely carefully because of the influential power that reviews have on other travelers' booking decisions. So with that in mind, simply apologizing for a traveler's experience will not be sufficient. You want to ensure when you are responding to a negative review like this one, you're either apologizing or sometimes acknowledging the specific issues that the guests encountered during their stay. It's from there that we can start to address it in the next part of the review response and how they'll be fixed. So our review response team starts by saying, please accept our apologies for any concerns about housekeeping as well as for any disappointment with breakfast in the pool. Now, there's a saying, don't be a part of the problem, be a part of the solution. Travelers don't just want an apology for their issues. They want to see the actions taken to get them resolved. And this is where most hoteliers seem to drop the ball. They do a great job of apologizing for their mistakes, but they never explain how they're going to be fixed. Be sure in your response to include at least 1 or 2 action items per negative sentiment that you plan to either implement or have at the property to ensure this type of guest experience does not happen again. So with that being said, our review response expert shared this hotel's action plan by writing, feedback from our guests is valuable as it helps us improve for future visits. Your comments are going to be discussed with the housekeeping staff to ensure attentive cleaning is performed in all areas of the hotel. Additionally, we are sorry to hear about the lack of towels in the pool area, and we always encourage guests to notify us of anything they need so that we have the chance to make it right. Now, this is a tip that we are constantly sharing to our hotel partners, and that's always extending an invitation back to the property for a future stay. Because asking for a return visit in response to a negative review shows confidence in your property's product and your property's service. And it demonstrates that you care enough to try to make it right and provide the experience expected at your hotel. Our travel media group team wraps up this negative review response by saying, please allow us the honor of an opportunity to demonstrate our true quality to you. We would love to provide you with the experience that you deserve. Now, an apologetic phrase like, we're sorry to hear about your experience, again, just does not cut it with today's traveler. Our guest today wants solutions, not apologies. Don't let a bad response to a bad review double the amount of damage to your hotel's online reputation. So use these tips to formulate a very calculated response to your negative reviews online. Now, the next review is titled Weekend Trip and has a perfect 5-star rating. It reads, we found this hotel by accident, and we're so glad we did. We will definitely be staying here next time we're in town, and this will be our recommendation for our youth group to stay the next time as well. So we went ahead and matched this review with the response, wow, thanks for the review. Now, we never want to express shock or surprise that we received positive feedback. Positive experiences and reviews at our hotel really should be the expectation and not the exception. So convey that sentiment in your review response. However, make certain that confidence in your hotel and service doesn't come off as complacency. Ensure your responses express gratitude and enthusiasm. Your customers feel that, and this will hopefully help encourage more travelers to write these types of raving reviews. So instead of the copy-pasting response we saw on the previous slide, our review response experts write, thank you for the excellent review. It looks like your experience with us made your weekend trip more memorable, and we could not be happier. We're stoked to earn your recommendation. Now, I want to point out another great feature of our review response solution is the ability to adapt to your property's unique voice. Whether you want a laid-back, friendly tone or a professional, business-like response, our team works with both independent and branded hotels to make sure we match your property's personality. Now, if used correctly, you can also leverage your review response as actually an effective conversion tool. In this review, for example, the guest revealed that they would be recommending this hotel for their youth group when they come to town. Do not fail to capitalize on opportunities like this when expressed by travelers in online reviews. We know the high cost of guest acquisition in today's hotel landscape, and an opportunity to convert could even be as subtle as a guest mentioning that they would recommend the hotel or would be willing to visit the property again sometime. So you want to let that guest and other travelers know that you're welcome to return business and would love the opportunity to serve them again. So keeping that in mind, our review response experts add, know that our entire team would be happy to welcome you and your group back to the hotel. Now, another reason why copy, paste, and templated responses are so ineffective is really because it fails to show the human component or element of your hotel business. All of us in the industry have been in the shoes of a traveler at one point in our life, and we know the stress that traveling can sometimes cause on us. So with that in mind, our responses need to be written with gratitude, empathy, and a human element and touch. If not, we fail in demonstrating to travelers that read our hotel's online reviews that we are more than just four walls and a bed. Now, in order to show that human component there, our hotel response writers conclude this review response by adding, "We hope your visit is just around the corner next time, and we wish you safe travels always." So utilize these tips to really get the most out of your hotel's best reviews. Because remember, guest conversion can start at any point in the traveler's journey, including review response. So the final and the last review is titled Noisy Beds and No Hot Water and has a terrible 1-star rating. It reads, "We were in this hotel last week, had no hot water one morning from shower, no hot water from the sink the last 2 days there. We told the front desk, it seems the problem is the room faucets. Very noisy mattresses. Also, shower head has a leak and some of the furniture was below standard. Hope they fix the faucet issue. I do not plan to stay here again." So we went ahead and paired this review response with please reach out to us because we obviously want to identify what room this guest was staying in. Now, when asking for additional follow-up from a guest, it's extremely important to answer the question why. So many times we see in review responses, hoteliers or business owners asking for that customer to please reach out, but they fail to give a reason on why they need that additional feedback. Use your review response to share why you need that feedback and what you plan to do with it once you have it. Our review response team does a great job of doing that by starting this review by writing, "We would love to learn more about your experience so that we can continue to improve on the aspects that matter most to our guests." Now, especially when responding to negative reviews, we want to be aware of the future guests that are going to be reading this review and the hotel's response. It's just as important to speak to them in your response as it is to the traveler that leaves you the review. Give future travelers peace of mind by sharing genuine concern and attention to issues that have been raised in the review and acknowledge to those future guests how those issues are going to be resolved. Our review response team adds, "Thank you for joining us during your recent travels. Since we genuinely love to please our valued guests, we appreciate you highlighting areas for our improvement. Our team is taking a close look at the feedback to ensure that we are making the positive changes needed." And lastly, this tip goes hand in hand with inviting those guests back for a return visit. It works great when you're making physical changes to the property, like a renovation or a capital improvement. But you can also advertise different times of the season, encouraging maybe a return visit at a different time of the season, like the winter or summer, or even visit them during different events in the area. At the end of the day, we want to include in our review response a reason for travelers to come back and visit. So as we conclude this review, our team adds, we hope that you will consider to see us again in the future to witness our various improvements. Now, using these tips could be the difference between a traveler contacting you at the property or not. This is critical because, again, this is the type of information and input that they can provide to you that could prevent more guests from experiencing the same issues and leaving you more negative reviews. So as leaders in the hospitality industry, it's critical that we are serving our guests at every stage of the traveler's journey. And in 2019, leading into 2020, review response is now a big part of that traveler journey. At Travel Media Group, we understand the impact of a uniquely written review response compared to those templated copy-paste replies. Traveler and brand expectations for online review response is only going to grow higher and higher as we enter into the new year. That's why our Respond and Resolve solution, which uniquely and creatively responds to all public-facing hotel reviews, is one of our fastest growing solutions. And we have an entire team dedicated to leveraging review response as a way to generate you revenue and improve your guest conversion. So with that being said, at this time, I'm going to go ahead and launch that interactive poll that we talked about at the beginning. And really, it's just a poll to see if you're interested in learning more information about our review response team, potentially tailoring unique review responses for your hotel leading into 2020. So I'll go ahead and give everyone a quick opportunity to find that poll and hopefully engage in it. Now, it does look like we have a lot of people on the line today. If you happen to get here a little bit later in the presentation or right there in the middle, we are going to be sending out a copy of this, but you can always find our webinars and educational info on either travelmediagroup.com or our YouTube page. So I'll go ahead and give everyone just a couple more seconds to find that poll there. Go ahead and get some answers. And then I'll go ahead and the next slide I will be sharing. Go ahead and share. This is my direct contact information. So if you had any questions about the content that we talked about today, and feel free to reach out to me. That's my direct line or email. And we are going to be continuing our educational webinar series. We've had a great response from everyone out there into 2020. The first educational webinar of the year is going to be talking about Instagram and marketing your hotel on Instagram. So if you're interested in signing up for that, go to our website, travelmediagroup.com/webinars, and go ahead and register for that. Thank you all so much for joining me today. And have a happy new year, and we'll see you next time.